What's up guys, my name is Ace, and yesterday Infinity Ward rolled out the tournament beta for 2v2 Gunfight. Now as it is right now, this is only available in public matches. You can't do private matches with tournaments yet, unfortunately. I'm hoping we end up getting that functionality eventually, but you can now enter these tournaments in Gunfights, and there are unique rewards that you can get for getting various placements within a tournament. Now, since they just added this, I was going to do a Gunfight tips video, but then I realized I've already done a Gunfight tips video back around the Gunfight alpha time, and all of those tips still hold true today, and I still stand behind every single one of them. So I am going to leave that one linked down below. Instead, what we're going to be doing is breaking down the Gunfight maps. I'm going to be showing you guys various jump spots and lines of sight that you can use to dominate Gunfight. And first off, we're going to kick it off with my favorite Gunfight map, and this is Speedball. And the number one reason this is my most favorite map is you can get on top of literally everything on this map. So just to show you guys around a little bit, one of the common opening routes that you can use here is to jump from this crate onto the blue thing here, and then from there you get a nice overview on people, and they often don't expect that, so you can usually take them off guard by doing that. Of course, just like with all of the Gunfight maps, or almost all of the Gunfight maps, this is very symmetrical, so anything you can do on one side of the map, you can typically do on the other side of the map as well. So that's really, really popular for opening routes, but I also wanted to show you can do this from other places as well. So if you're back here after an opening route, you clear off that area there. Maybe you want to jump up this way and get a nice overview of people that are in this area. If you have enemies that are sitting in that back corner area, which is very common, by jumping from these barrels up on top of this and then crouching immediately, they can't see you. Then you stand up and now you have the height advantage over them. Great little line of sight. And of course that one is symmetrical as well, so you can do it from this side of the map, which is excellent. Another situation that comes to mind is in a 1v1, for instance. Maybe you know the enemy is either in or behind that blue container in this situation, and you're in the middle of the map. What you can do here is just jump onto this thing right here and then jump up. And look at that. You can take them out if they're on the barrels, or if they're down below you, they'll usually come out because they hear your footsteps, and then you just shoot them in the top of the head, and they have no idea what hit them. So all of that is super versatile, but something else I wanted to show you on the snake side of the map over here is if you end up on top of the snake, which isn't the most practical thing, admittedly, you can actually just sprint across this. I'm not going to jump at all. This is just sprinting, and you don't actually fall down between the cracks. Now, you do have to jump across to get to here. Why would you want to do this? Well, one situation, maybe you've got somebody pinned back in that corner, which is, like I said, very common. People love to sit back on those corners. If you can get them to duck down behind cover, and then you mantle up here, you can just jump across, sprint, and there you go. You jump over, take them off guard. They'll never expect you to come over the top. They always expect you to come around the sides. Another little line of sight, if enemies are just camping in the back center area and you go snake side, what you can do is just hop up on the crate here. Great line of sight into that back area, and they don't typically expect this one. And also, just wanted to show you once again, like if you're over in this area here, just the versatility of jumping on literally anything. You can jump from there over to the tires, and then on top of this, and then from here over to this area, and then onto the blue crate. You can get around the map playing the floor is lava all you want, and you can get on top of literally everything, like I said. Moving on to the next map, this is Stack, and Stack is a very, very simple map, so I don't have a ton of spots to show you guys here, but just a few things to show you. First off, you can actually get on top of this middle crate here. There aren't too many situations where that would be very practical, because you do have to jump on this railing first, and then from here you can easily jump across. But I did want to point out you can get up here. Unfortunately, you can't get on top of these ones or those ones over there, but you can get on the middle crate. Also, if you end up in a gunfight with somebody that's on the stairs over there and you're in this side right here, great way to push them is actually to just come right here, and then as long as you come up on the right little bump here, you actually get a perfect head glitch onto the stairs, and they don't normally expect this at all. They're just going to basically see your forehead at this point, and you can easily pick them off through here. This, of course, works both ways, so you can use it going this way as well, and it even works on the other side of the map if you want to jump onto these ones. This is actually a great line of sight if you end up in a 1v1 or 2v1 situation. It's not typically practical if both of the enemy players are still alive. So that was Stack. Like I said, not a whole lot on that map. It's a very, very simple map design. Now let's move on to Pine. And with Pine, you can actually get on top of this blue container by just jumping across like this. Not a super practical spot. Just wanted to point out you can do that, and that might be useful in some situations. A little bit more of a useful spot, though, is in a 2v1 situation or a 1v1 situation where you have an enemy that's camping behind the blue container, which happens pretty frequently, I've found. If you get yourself pushed up to this way right here, all you have to do is jump from here on top of blue, and they'll have no chance. You can easily pick them off. They never see that coming. Now, a really common thing for people to do is they'll sit right on the back ramp part there, and they'll try and pick people off that are coming up to this area here. It's basically just a 50-50 fight if you're trying to challenge them this way. One way to challenge them that you can use that they don't normally expect is simply come up onto this vehicle like this, and you'll typically get a nice line of sight on them either there or up in this area here, and they're normally not looking exactly in this spot. Now that is somewhat symmetrical, even though it's a little bit of a different vehicle. You can do the same sort of thing by jumping on top of this vehicle right here. Now this middle crate right here, you can get on top of that by either coming up to this stump, getting on top of this first, and then jumping up. I've actually used this to take people off guard a couple times, and they don't normally expect it. You can also do something similar from the other side of the map. You can get on top of this stump right here, and then from here you can just jump across, mantle onto the doorway, and get on top of the middle thing. Also from here on this rock, if you just walk yourself up the rock, you can easily make that jump. And of course, once again, this is pretty symmetrical. You can jump from this rock over to the red crate as well. Now, over in this area here, I just wanted to point out something that it seems like a lot of people weren't aware of. I see people like camping back here, and they just let enemies run up on them from this direction. And what you can do is just pop yourself up by going right here, and you've got a great piece of cover to challenge anybody that might be coming through this area here. And they don't typically expect that. Now, over in this back corner area, a great way to take out the people that are just camping in behind that rock there and won't come out is you can actually come on top of this rock and get a nice little peek over top, but you can also get on top of these rocks right here. And then from here, you just shoot them in the top of the head. And again, they just never look up on this map, I find. They don't normally expect that you can do stuff like that. So it's really effective. Now, also with this rock, you can use it to counter the people that are over in that area right there. They don't typically expect to be looking over top of this crate like that, so it's something that you could make work in some situations. Same thing goes with the rock over here. If you want to challenge people that are on that side, you can easily just pop up here and do that. Now, if you get enemies that are hanging back in this particular area here, either behind this piece of cover or looking that way like this is a very popular spot for people to be. If you're trying to get aggressive on them and you can get yourself up towards this area right here, you can actually jump on top of these rocks really easily as well, and once again, just shoot them in the top of the head. Moving on to the next map, this is King, and the first thing I wanted to show you guys, for those of you guys that still aren't aware, is these concrete areas right here. If you just walk up to them, you pop yourself up, and you've got an excellent piece of cover. I realize this is common knowledge for a lot of players, but I know there's still plenty of people out there that don't know that you can do this, and it is a great way to challenge people. Now, another thing you can do that's only on this one spot of the map, this is not symmetrical, this is only on this one particular spot, is you can actually get yourself on top of this target right here, which can be quite useful. Now, to get there, you might have to do a little bit of a fancy jumping maneuver, but there are plenty of ways to get on top of this, and once you do, you get a nice line of sight over the top here, and they don't typically expect this. They're going to be looking for you down in this area right here, not up higher like that. They're not going to be aiming up like this. They're going to be aiming down here. Now, if you have a gun that's good with bullet penetration, people really like sitting on the stairs right here. This is extremely common. People will just come right here, and then they'll wait to see which side you go on. And this is actually a great tactic for winning the game on this. However, I do have a great counter for those people. If you know they're chilling on the stairs, maybe your teammate called them out or something, you can just pop yourself up like this, and then if you need to, you can jump as a check spot, but you can also just try spraying bullets through. If you get a hit marker, keep spraying, and you'll get yourself a nice, easy kill. Moving on to the next map, this is Hill, and you're on your own. Good luck. Aim for name tags. That's your best bet. This map is horrible. As for cool out showers, I've got some much better tips for you. First off, a lot of people know that you can hop up on the sinks and then hop up to this area here, which is great, but you're exposing your entire body by doing this, and most people know about this spot by now, so they're going to be ready for that. Instead, I've got a few other alternatives for you. First thing is don't jump on the sinks at all. Jump on these areas right here, these little pillars. From here, you get a much better line of sight. You can crouch to take cover, stand up. There you go. Great line of sight towards middle. You can do that with any one of these as well. You can jump up here, lean around the corner, or you can watch this way and kill the people over there. Obviously, this works on both sides of the map. This map is completely symmetrical. Also, from the back area right here, you can get on top of this really easily, and with this, it can be quite useful for getting a line of sight into that area there. You just have to keep an eye out for people that might be peeking around that corner, because your entire body is exposed to them. But you can also jump across to this area right here, and once again, this gives you a great line of sight towards middle, as well as this area right here. Now, another thing you can do is you can hop up on the lockers right at the back here, and then you can lean around the corner. That gives you a nice angle on those people that will be coming through that doorway right there. This also works on top of this area right here. If you jump up on top of that, you can get on top of the showers, and that gives you a nice angle into the area right there. And this even works in the mid-map areas. Sometimes you might find yourself like trapped behind one of these pillars and you don't know what to do. Well, best thing you can often do is just mantle up onto the lockers, and they don't typically expect you to be up here, and you can use this as a great spot for just peeking around corners too. Now, I also want to point out, in the middle of the map, you can jump up onto this area right here, and then from here you can jump across to this one, and then it'll give you a little bit of a line of sight on those people right there. And when you are approaching the enemy spawn, once again, instead of jumping up on the sinks, jump up to this area right here, and there you go. Excellent line of sight towards the back of their spawn. Now, one other thing I wanted to point out is these showers in the middle, you can shoot through them as long as you've got a gun that is something that typically penetrates through stuff. You can shoot through this, so if you get a guy that goes behind cover, just light him up. So finally, we have Docks, and Docks has some excellent lines of sight. First one is right off of spawn, especially with like a sniper rifle. Instead of peeking around the side of this, just back up a little bit and hop onto this little ledge. From here, especially with sniper rifles, you can easily pick off that free headshot, and they don't normally expect this. Another thing I really like to do on Docks is I will often come up to this area here, and I will jump right up on top of this. From here, you get a great angle looking down on those people that chill at the back center area. I've picked off so many people before they even knew what was happening to them by using that, and of course that is symmetrical. It works the same way if you jump on that side. Now, I'm sure almost everybody is aware of this, but just in case you aren't, you can drop down here, and if you slide and catch that slide just right, you will slide all the way through the middle area. This is great for that super aggressive rush. Now, one of my favorite opening routes on this side of the map is to simply hop up like this and pre-aim this doorway. They almost always come straight through this doorway. Plus, when you're up here, they have no line of sight on you from back in that area of the map. They have to actually push through center to get a line of sight. So you're pretty safe once you make it up here. And then you can just pre-aim that, wait for that person to come through. If they don't, then you can just jump into the window. Now, getting over to this building right here, one thing to know is there's fans right here. And if you shoot them, just like if you shoot these, they will just be destroyed. And then you can throw equipment through there. So that could be one great way of attacking people, by throwing equipment through those fans. Also, on this side of the map over here, a nice little opening route that you can use is to jump on top of these barrels immediately. By doing this, you get a nice little head glitch over top of this piece of cover here. They don't typically expect you here, and you do have a nice angle on them, and you've got really nice cover as long as you can make it across this gap first to get on top of these barrels. Now, kind of on the reverse of that spot, if you can make it up to this vehicle right here and you hop up on the hood, that gives you a nice little line of sight on that angle right there. Also, it is worth noting, from this vehicle, you can jump across like that instead of just jumping into the window, which is great because you'll often get people that will just sit right here waiting to see if you jump in the window, and they won't notice if you jump towards that side. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for a bunch of great spots that I have for you guys on all of the Gunfight maps that we currently have access to in the game. Like I said, if you're looking for some tips to improve at Gunfight, I will leave a link to that video in the description down below. All of those tips from back then still hold true today. Of course, I'm interested in hearing from you guys. First off, did I miss any excellent spots that you know of? And second, what are your thoughts on the Gunfight tournament system? Personally, I think it's really exciting, although I'm most excited for having the ability to potentially have custom games for that, so I can do those tournaments on my live stream with you guys. Unfortunately, we don't have access to that yet, but I'm hoping that comes soon. In either case, if you guys enjoyed this video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.